What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Seraina Telli. Thank you so much for being here. It is so great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to talking with you today because your new album, Simple Talk, is absolutely incredible. I feel like it has everything we love about down and dirty rock and roll to pure brutal metal. What was the sort of vision going into the making of this? Was there like maybe a idea that you had in mind with the making of this, or was this like more of like an experimental songwriting process?
You mean like the whole songwriting process, or how the project even started,
Yeah.
or? So it started because I wanted to do a collaboration with a German goth rock band. It's called Analux, and yeah, we were talking about what kind of song it could be, and anyway, in the end, I was like in a very working flow, and I just wrote the whole song, which is Today I'm Not Sorry. And yeah, it just came, a mail came back, so this is your song.
Mhm.
So you should do more stuff like that. And so the idea was born to do like a solo project. And yeah, so I just started writing songs in that direction. And it was pretty, in the beginning, it was pretty clear that it would be like straight in your face rock, something like that. Yeah.
So it's fair to say that Simple Talk was almost kind of like a happy accident in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yep. Were you going into this with a completely different frame of mind than your previous work that you've done with bands such as Burning Witches or Dead Venus in a way, or has there always been sort of like a method behind the madness that applies to every project that you're involved with?
I don't know. It's not like I have planned like my whole life or something like that. It's more like I like to have a good concept for what I'm doing. So and as at the moment it was clear I want to do that solo project. I also knew it should be something that is like really something else, or just like me. I think it's not that different to Burning Witches. Actually, it's just not that much heavy metal. But it's very different to Dead Venus, and I think this is also good because I don't want to have like two bands and do like the same stuff. So that doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah, of course. Would you say, because this is a solo album, if a listener really wanted to get to know who Seraina Telli is, that this is the album, like this is more of a self-portrait than what we would hear off of an album such as Hex and Hammer or Masquerade off of the Risen album or something like that?
Yeah, you you were researching well. I see.
Thank you.
Ryzen is like some years ago, but it was fun. Yeah, of course, it's like super me in that solo project because in Burning Witches I was also writing together with the guitarist, and yeah, I couldn't like do stuff like I do it today. So yeah.
You mentioned like that there was maybe some sort of like a concept involved as well. Like, do you almost feel like every song is meant to be like you need to start off with Modern Warrior and end with Medusa? Does each song kind of lead to another in a certain story in a way, or did I just completely overthink of the word concept?
That's maybe a little bit overthinking. No, I mean like a concept overall. So like that you have an idea, where is the goal of this band, or how should it sound. So I think there are also musicians out there who work like, yeah, let's see what happens. And I'm not that kind of worker. I say it like that. But I like to know my goal, and I like to have these uh, kind of boundaries where I know what I can do, what I don't want to do. So yeah, in this project it is pretty clear, but I set the boundaries myself. So
Well, I when I listened to this album, I felt like a track like Take Care has a very different energy or vibe than a track like Remedy, which is very different from a track like No One of Your Kind. It almost seemed like every song had its own sort of vibe behind it. Is every song maybe reflective of an emotion that you were sort of feeling in a way? Did it all come internally, or were you kind of looking at external sources of inspiration as well?
I would say it's kind of both. So if I start like the songwriting, it's very like I see it from my point of view, and I also try to always look like from the outside, so from the listener. Um, that also the album is like interesting. So you don't have like songs, like 5 or 6 songs, it sounds the same. You know what I mean? So it should be like interesting. So I sometimes also think, yeah, okay, let's do something like that too. Like when we talk about rhythms or stuff like that, and yeah. So
Depending.
it's kind of both, but it's very personal. The songs are very like from me, and the lyrics are very personal, of course. Yeah.
Do you want the lyrics to be open to interpretation, or do you want the listener to sort of maybe like get an idea of what you were feeling at the time and maybe see things from your point of view?
I really like to write that other people can make an interpretation of their own situation, you know. So, of course, I have my own situation in mind if I write a song, but I try to keep it like open so that you can change the person or whatever the situation. Because for me, it's music is something like you talk to the people, you know. And if I listen to music I like, they are talking to me somehow, and I like to share the feelings. Yeah.
Well, depending on what the subject matter is about, because like when I hear, and I could be interpreting it differently, but like when I hear the word Medusa, like that it does go back to the reference of Greek mythology. But then I feel like a track like I Dare To or Take Care or I'm Not Sorry could be a little bit more personal. So depending on the subject matter of a song, does it maybe resonate with you differently, or does it hit you in a different way?
Yeah, of course, that's right. Especially Medusa is like really from another point of view, because it's not my story, but it's also kind of story of women, you know. So like you can interpret. Sorry, I have problems with English sometimes. You got it. In a different way, you know. So also the lyrics in Medusa is like written in a way that it's still personal. It's my point of view, and yeah.
Do you almost feel like maybe in a way that you portray, even though it's all personal, I feel like when you create something, you almost are bringing in a different energy, and you're channeling something that maybe you don't do when you're at the grocery store, or when you are just taking a walk. So like, do you almost feel like maybe that music is almost as much of an alter ego in a way, because it's expressing a side of yourself that you're not doing 24 hours a day?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And I think if I would go shopping like I'm writing songs, it would be like very, very fun. Yeah, of course, it's in music you can put like so much energy in, and you can also get the energy out again if it's live, or if you just play a song, and it's the song you want to have, and so the power comes back. So of course there's like an exchange of power which you can't like compare to other things you do in everyday.
Well, when it comes to that creative energy, do you almost seek it out in a way? Do you almost have to look for that creative inspiration, or does the inspiration or the energy just strike out of the blue when you least expect it?
Usually it's no problem for me to get the energy, and to write something. I sometimes have to search like for for a theme, or for what I want to write about. But if that's clear, so it's there's no problem. It's like it's just coming out. Yeah.
Do you? I'd imagine sometimes inspiration strikes at the most inconvenient of times, right?
Sometimes, yeah, especially when I'm like driving with the car, or if I do sports, then it's like I'm just with myself. And if I'm running, I do nothing else than run, and I'm in the nature, and then it's like very often that I'm very creative then.
Being both a guitar player and a lyricist, there are two different forms of music altogether. There are people who sometimes can't do both. You have the awesome gift of being able to do both. Do you almost feel, though, that maybe the two forms of instrumentation of Simple Talk is like a different it's a different means of expression to you? You could express one thing with the guitar that you can with the lyrics, and vice versa, or being that it's all coming from your own heart and your own mind, it expresses very much the same thing.
I think there are very two different things, playing guitar and singing. But for me, it's just like the whole thing. I write songs and I just want to show it. I just want to play it, and that's also the reason why I play the instruments. It's not because I want to be like the new best guitarist, but it's like it's the feeling. It's my song, and I just want to play it.
With that feeling that you have, you know, because sometimes you're working on a song for hours and days and weeks. Do you find it like the longer you work on something, the harder it is to sort of maintain that feeling that initially sparked it?
Actually, no. It also depends very much on the song. Sometimes it's like the ideas are there like very fast, and you've written it in like 2 or 3 hours. Other songs are like, yeah, you have to put it away and get it back at another time. So, yeah. If you feel like the energy is gone, then you should probably do something else in the meantime.
Well, when you finally finish the song after working on it, and you know maybe you're listening to it and seeing the work that you've done, do you feel like maybe that expresses a different energy, or that has a new layer of meaning behind it after it's finished?
Um, no, it's like pretty much I know where I want to go, and then I just write the song until I'm at the point I wanted to have it. So
How do
yeah,
you know when you
it's
are?
it's not like I'm surprised in the end how the sound sounds.
How do you know when you are finished with a song?
I don't know. It's like it's not the whole thing. It's like steps, you know. So I'm writing on a verse, for example, and then I'm writing and I sing it and I listen to it and I think, ah, no, the lyrics, I don't know the rhythm, and then I change it. And in the end, if I have this feeling, so yeah, I would listen to that now. So I always look like if I would enjoy listening to the song, so it's cool for me.
Now we talked about it a little bit before, but Ryzen, the album Masquerade, that was 10 years old last year. It's amazing how much time flies.
Shit. I didn't know that. Thanks.
Sorry. um, but what was the sort of mindset behind the making of that? Did that at all lay down groundwork or teach you new things that you would later apply to Burning Witches and then Simple Talk in a way? Or was that kind of like a one time thing and so early you kind of really don't look back at that?
It's I like to look back at that because it was the first band I was singing in, and but I was not really much involved in the creative process. Of course, I did like most of my singing parts. I created also myself, but not the lyrics and stuff. So it was like the first experience for me being in a band, and yeah, it was great to work with people who like worked together in a band for some years, so I could learn very very much then. And yeah, so it's it's nice to look back, and I still sometimes have are in contact with the guys. So yeah, it's fun.
Maybe we could do an anniversary show of that album one day.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely worth a celebration. But when it comes to also kind of what I said too about the different incorporating guitar and vocals into your sound, does the lyrical idea help guide your hand with regards to how you write the song? Could the lyrical concept dictate the music, or do you prefer to have like a whole song written before you know what the song is going to be about?
It's not always the same. So sometimes I'm like more inspired about the rhythms and the harmonies and stuff. So sometimes I just sit there and have an idea how the song should sound, and then in the end I do the lyrics. And with other songs, it's more like, ah, I want to write a song about that, and then I have first like some part of the lyrics and the idea of a hook line or something like that. So it's yeah, different.
I know, I know. This is rather a kind of cliche question, but I am curious to what your inspiration for guitar playing is, because Burning Witches was straight up thrash. It's brutal, but the Simple Talk is very. It's so much fun and rock oriented, and it goes through multiple generations. Did you have like one specific guitar player that made you want to pick up and start playing, or were you always looking at different artists as a form of reference?
It's fun with guitar playing because I just started to play because I really like the feeling to play guitar. And as I said before, to play my songs. So I wasn't really looking for an influence or yeah. So I can't tell. So it's just the music I like to listen to. I like if it's like really dirty. I like if the guitar is like beeping and making noises, and that was clear in the beginning that I don't want to have this clean metal guitar sound. So yeah.
Of course, it's anything but clean, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be angry if you say it's clean.
Well, wow, I can't wait for somebody to meet you one day and say, "Wow, I love your guitar tone. It's so clean," and see the reaction almost when they mean it as a compliment.
What?
Yeah.
Shut up, man.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is music from Switzerland, because I've had the privilege of interviewing multiple artists from Switzerland, from Zealand Ardor to Dream Shade, one of my personal favorites, to Elevate. I mean, how has the scene in Switzerland sort of been? I know that like a lot of bands from France, Germany, and Italy kind of like to meet up there because of the geography. It's kind of like their way of going outside their zones. But how has the metal scene in Switzerland been?
It's very special. I think Switzerland is very special music scene, especially in rock and metal. So there is a lot going on here, and people love the music. But it's also like Swiss artists are often like more known in other countries. You were talking about Elevati, so it's not like in Switzerland they're not that famous that they are in other countries, which is like yeah, which is special, I think. So yeah, and the rock and metal scene is like very an underground thing here, so you barely hear it in the radio or something like that. So it's a little bit, yeah, a
That's
little bit fun here.
that's really strange. My family is from South Germany and Southern Bavaria, so right on the border, and I was hearing Children of Bodom on daytime radio. Once.
Germany is totally different. In Germany, it's like very rock is like a very big thing there. Also, like in the commercial part, and here in Switzerland, the commercial part is like very small. So you really have the pop music and these Swiss pop acts, and yeah, with rock music, it's more like underground still.
Yeah. Well, I've also the three bands I reference is like Dream Shade is metalcore, Zealand Ardor is like avant garde in a way, and
That
Elevate
is
is
so cool.
folk metal. But like Sweden known for melodic death metal, Norway known for black metal. It almost seems like Switzerland. It's a very diverse scene.
It's very diverse, and I'm always like surprised about the quality of the bands and the musicians we have here. So it's like that's why I said it's like very special here. So we have like everything, but still it's like strange in a way. Yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time and for such an awesome conversation, and most of all, thank you for this awesome album, Simple Talk. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote with the release of this album in terms of tours or shows? Anything else you would like to promote?
Also, thank you very much for having me. It was nice talking to you. And yeah, of course, best would be if you stay like on my Instagram or Facebook page. I also have TikTok now. I promote like all the tour dates and stuff there, or just go to my website, serainatelli.com.
Awesome. And please come to the US one day. We'd love to have you here.
Yeah, I would love to.
Thank you
Hopefully soon.
Sooner than later. Everybody, we are here with Seraina Telli. Be sure to check out Simple Talk if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.